Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Jacquie O'Brien and I'm very privileged to be the CEO here at Tweddle. I don't think anyone could have predicted that Tweddle's 100th AGM would be taking place with a combination of socially distanced and virtual guests. But then again, this year has been like no other. Due to the pandemic and associated changing government timelines, we've had to move the date of our AGM. We usually celebrate this in November. However, we're glad that you've been able to join us today. For those of you that are joining us online, we meet today live from Footscray and our conference centre. Let me outline some of the housekeeping for this just over an hour presentation. All participants are muted. However, we will ensure that there is time for questions, and we will also monitor the chat function for those who wish to comment via that. We will respond to those questions and comments throughout the AGM. Our custom AGM URL will use a combination of live stream and slide view. Thank you to JT Productions for their support today. You will see on your screen that we are recording the AGM and we will make it available for those that cannot attend. I'd like to start by acknowledging that we're hosting our annual general meeting from the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you're all joining us today, and also acknowledge any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people that are present. I pay my respects to elders past and present and emerging, and acknowledge Aboriginal people as Australia's first people and as the traditional custodians of the lands and the waters on which we rely and meet today. Today I'm honoured to host the 100th Annual General Meeting for Tweddle. I'd like to acknowledge staff, donors, and the then Department of Health and Human Services for their ongoing funding and support. We will expand on that later. As most of you know, there was a change to the departments and that became effective from February. We now have the Department of Health and the Department of Families, Fairness and Housing. And we will continue to work with both departments as we move forward. Today is an opportunity to reflect upon what was a year of growth and innovation, despite closures and restrictions. The words unprecedented and pivot have become commonplace. I'd like to say that not a day has passed since the Premier declared a state of emergency on the 16th of March, nearly a year ago, where we haven't witnessed remarkable displays of adaptation, resilience from both staff and especially families that we work with. In a year where we continued to demonstrate Tweddle's values of collaboration, accountability, respect and engagement, we decided to introduce a new award as part of the annual general meeting. The Tweddle Values Award in recognition of the staff living these values and behaviours, and we look forward to celebrating that later today, recognising this staff member with that is such an important award. Today we will also hear about a very important project that Tweddle is leading, and this has an impact on a key Victorian workforce that supports babies, toddlers and their families. A project that we are indeed honoured to lead in partnership with the Centre for Excellence in Child and Family Welfare. I'm now very pleased to introduce Tweddle's Board Chair, Doris Whitmore. Doris first joined the board in 2015. She was elected Chair in November 2018. To provide you with some background, Doris has held various executive positions in not-for-profit organisations, and she has committed herself and her career to working in health with a particular passion to improving outcomes for women and their families. She's currently the Director of Client Services at Breast Screen Victoria and a board member of Star Community Health. I'll now hand over to Doris.
Thank you, Jackie. I too wish to acknowledge the traditional owners of the various lands on which we are all gathered and pay my respect to their elders, past and present, as well as emerging. I also pay my respects to any Aboriginal people with us today. This is my 5th AGM and my 2nd as chair, and I can't describe to you the privilege and honour I feel about presenting Tweddle's 100th annual report, together with the formal component of today's annual general meeting. So let me start by welcoming you all and thank you for making time to be with us today. It's really interesting saying welcoming you all when I know there's so many of you off in the virtual space. As we've mentioned, this is Tweddle's 100th AGM, and although a hybrid AGM of virtual and those present, it is our 100th, and we must acknowledge what an incredible achievement and historical milestone that is. So bear with us, we're going to say 100th a lot. So today we have a number of special guests present, including members of our funding bodies, our partner agencies, Tweddle board members, and key to everything we do for babies and toddlers, our staff. Philanthropy allows Tweddle to deliver new programs, purchase resources and undertake valuable research. So on behalf of the board, Jackie, the CEO, and the families that we care for, I want to take this opportunity to thank our funding stakeholders and our donors. Hobson's Bay City Council, Department of Education and Training, William Angliss Charitable Fund, Brimbank Communities for Children, Collier Charitable Fund, Rotary Club of Footscray, Public Record Office Victoria, Seddon Christmas Appeal, and Romy Katz. Thank you. Tweddle is made up of many people giving of their time, and it is my absolute pleasure to acknowledge our tireless volunteer concierge, Carol McDonald, who for 4 years supported the admission process at Tweddle every week. Like many things, the pandemic meant that Carol's role was put on hold, and she has subsequently made the decision to leave her role at Tweddle. Carol, we will be eternally grateful to you for giving your time to the families that have come through our doors. Carol also volunteers in Werribee and has young grandchildren that I know you will look forward to spending more time with. To those dozens of families and friends who donated leaves to our giving tree, baby clothes, blankets, and their valuable time, thank you. Jim Heavey, Lorraine Carroll, Brenda and Rhonda from Whittle Pieces, and Faye Stankovic, to name just a few. Every small donation makes a difference to the lives of babies and toddlers and families that we care for. Before moving on to the formalities of today, I will ask you to indulge me while I introduce you to my fellow board members, and that's going to be a really interesting exercise when we do this virtually. I know that each and every one of these people give of their time and expertise because they know how vital the work at Tweddle is for babies and toddlers. We are a team which, like all well-performing teams, bring diverse views to the responsibilities of carrying out our fiduciary duties. With careful consideration, transparency, a commitment to good governance, and our organisation's values, we focus our work for the advancement of early parenting sector, and particularly for Tweddle. And so I'm proud to introduce you to these wonderful people. Now, I'm not sure whether waves are going to be seen, but virtual waves. Our outgoing Deputy Chair, Carla Di Campo, Treasurer Jennifer Lang, who will come up and speak shortly, board members Melanie Telford, who's here today, Annette Vickery, Dr Raj Kulin, Catherine Van Fleet and Andrew Jaworski. Sorry, Andrew. I'm delighted also to introduce 3 new board members who joined us mid-last year, Annette McCurry, Julia McCormack and Dr. Kutsai Kanhutu. Our 3 new members bring a wealth of experience across public health, strategic health planning, clinical services planning, capital project management and service reform in government, private and the not-for-profit sectors. During this year, we also farewelled Dr. Leanne Beagley, Katerina Angelopoulos and Rosalie Flynn. I take this opportunity to thank them for their years of service and the expertise they brought to us. I'd note there are a number of apologies for today's meeting, and I believe, Jackie, that the complete list is available from Sam Gates-Scoville. So in progressing the formalities, I now draw your attention to the minutes of the 99th Annual General Meeting, and these have been circulated to those in attendance at our 2018-19 AGM. So I need to confirm those minutes. We need to move the confirmation of the minutes by 2 people who are in attendance. So the draft motion before this meeting is that the minutes of the 99th Annual General Meeting held on the 20th of November 2019 being confirmed as a true and accurate record of that meeting. Can I have someone to move that, please? Thank you, Melinda. And seconded? Kirsty, thank you. So thank you, everyone. I'd like now to enter the official presentation of Tweddle's 100th Annual Report. So when Jackie and I considered how we should start this part of the proceedings, we could not go past a quote by Brené Brown. And Jackie, I've taken the liberty and expanded slightly on the one we landed on. Vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up when we have no control over the outcome. Vulnerability is not weakness, it's our measure of courage. So that is from author and academic Brené Brown, reminding us that vulnerability is indeed not weakness. We see that courage every day here at Tweddle, in our families and in our staff. And more than ever, this year has been about courage, about relationships, about resilience and facing challenges head on. Tweddle's clinicians have been supporting families for a century, in good times and in bad, during the Great Depression and in wartime. And in a pandemic, our trusted clinicians used telehealth to encourage and reassure families who are facing the challenges of parenting in a pandemic. This takes courage. Tweddle's clinicians delivered urgently needed parenting support and education via phones, and laptops and tablets. The emotional support they provided to parents included a sense of connectedness, the validation of fears and worries, and allowed parents to have their feelings normalised. Many parents were grieving for traditional pastimes that punctuate early parenthood, normal things like parent groups and people visiting. You've got a new child, people visit. And you take your new child to visit family and friends. And babies and toddlers needed parents who felt supported. Parents needed a strong and soothing and reassuring voice, a kind face, a trusted and experienced practitioner, and an understanding smile on the other end of the phone or Zoom chat. So a call to Tweddle when you're feeling all of those things, it takes enormous courage. Anxious parents setting off on their parenting journey found themselves isolated and worried, and new parents moved online to connect and reach out. And Tweddle was there to meet them. And pivot we did. Lifebuoy video filmed nearly 4 hours of childhood education. These videos have now been seen over 500 times. Tweddle developed an online parenting hub offering dozens of resources for parents unable to leave home. That hub has experienced thousands of visits. Many of our programs transitioned to online delivery, programs including Play Steps, My Time, and residential and day stay programs. We also developed an online program for families involved in the child protection stream called Parenting, Skill Development and Education. The rollout of the new telehealth programs and online education enabled expanded service delivery and broader catchments for clients. And in all of this, we needed to be safe for our clients and our staff. It was crucial that client and worker safety remained at the forefront of our service standards. So Tweddle's quality team and executive supported the rollout of telehealth services to ensure that adequate policy work was completed to keep us safe. In parallel, Tweddle's plans for growth progressed as part of the Andrews Labor government's $123 million early parenting centres expansion and upgrade project. That's a mouthful, but the work is big. We are so excited to have been announced as the lead provider in a new EPC in Wyndham and to be working in partnership with new EPCs in Bendigo and Geelong, not to forget the work on our new buildings and refurbishment. So all this hasn't happened overnight. There has been much work that has brought us to this point, and I want to thank all the board members and staff involved in that journey to date. There is plenty of work ahead, but well done to all for getting us to this point. It's been a long ride and a great achievement. I want to thank the dedication of Tweddle management and staff for the highlights for 2019-20. And I'm going to list some because, and I looked at this list and thought, what could I maybe, truncate? I couldn't pick one. A key partnership with the Centre for Excellence in Child and Family Welfare was secured to deliver Victoria's nursing, parenting and health practitioners training in the latest evidence-based approaches to sleep and settling, and you'll hear more about that later. Our HOPES program attracted recurrent funding with thanks to the Victorian Labor government. Tweddle partnered with Associate Professor Rebecca Giallo from the Murdoch Children's Research Institute and research team, who were awarded a Commonwealth Government National Health and Medical Research Council grant. This will deliver collaborative research into suicide prevention among new dads and a rigorous evaluation of Tweddle's Working Out Dads program. Tweddle participated in the statewide Strengthening Hospital Response to Family Violence project and a research study with the Royal Melbourne Hospital. We also launched on-site dads program, Working Out Parenting, with thanks to the Collier Charitable Fund. This has recently started up again after a short pause because of the pandemic. Tweddle was honoured to join the reconciliation movement with the launch of our Reflect Reconciliation Action Plan, which was endorsed by Reconciliation Australia as part of Reconciliation Week. Launching Tweddle's plan is an important marker in our commitment in the process of reconciliation. And our independent review body, the Australian Council on Healthcare Standards, advised Tweddle that we were awarded a certificate of accreditation and also noted that the accreditation was completed to such a high standard that no recommendation for improvement was required. And of course, 2020 was the year of Tweddle's centenary, an incredible milestone, as we said earlier, and one we were planning to celebrate with everybody. Unfortunately, our plans have been stalled, and we still hope to deliver some events in 2021 and to include past and present board members, staff, stakeholders and families in our celebrations. Pandemic permitting, of course, so stay tuned. Tweddle wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the courage of some very special groups of people. We evolved following the establishment of the Society for the Health of Women and Children of Victoria in September 1920. Major influences on the development of the Society included Dr. Springthorpe, Sister Maud Primrose, and Mr. James Hume Cook. the society was funded by businessman Joseph Tweddle, and in 1922 we officially became the Tweddle Hospital for Babies and the School of Mothercraft, on land that was donated by the Footscray Council. Tweddle was Victoria's first school of mothercraft, and we continue today working in partnership with many universities delivering nursing and early year education. So I want to acknowledge the Angus family who have contributed many decades of governance, auxiliary leadership and council representation at Tweddle. Mrs Diane Gibson AO continues to support Tweddle today as Life Governor and Chair of the William Angus Charitable Fund. We also thank 1939 Tweddle baby Mr Jim Heavey for documenting Tweddle's history and for his dedication to capturing the stories and images of Tweddle's centenary of service. The board, management and staff would also like to acknowledge the Department of Health and Human Services teams that support Tweddle's work. We extend our gratitude to the previous Minister for Health, Jenny Makakos. We thank the Minister for Child Protection, Luke Donnellan, and the previous Minister for Mental Health, Martin Foley, for their tireless commitment to vulnerable families. The ongoing support of local member for Footscray, Ms Katie Hall, MP, is also greatly appreciated. The funding we receive to support vulnerable families, including those who are involved with child protection, enables us to continue to deliver upstream services. These services disrupt pathways into adversity and intergenerational trauma. Finally, I'd like to thank Jackie. The relationship between Chair and CEO is an important one. We don't always agree on a lot of things, and I poke and she pokes back. But our relationship is an important one for the organisation, and I've very much enjoyed working with you, Jackie, over the years. So now I'd like to hand over to Tweddle's Treasurer, Ms Jennifer Lang, for the presentation of the Treasurer's report.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and again, thank you for joining us here today. The financial report for Tweddle has been prepared in accordance with Australian accounting standards, the Financial Management Act of 1994, and other mandatory professional reporting requirements. The pandemic has had an impact on all of us, and we can see that impact on our end-of-year financial report. For the year ended 30th of June 2020, Tweddle has posted a comprehensive result for the year of a deficit, $878,391. We know that the effects of COVID-19 had adverse impact across Tweddle's operations, impacting all face-to-face fee-for-service delivery. The impact of COVID-19 also saw significant economic implications across financial markets, resulting in significant losses across our investment portfolio, unfortunately. Finally, I would like to acknowledge the generosity of Tweddle's volunteers and supporters in terms of donations, both financial and in kind, and our amazing dedicated staff. So it is my role now to formally present before this meeting the Tweddle Financial Report for the year ended June 30th, 2020. The draft motion for consideration today is that the 2019-20 Annual Financial Report be confirmed. May I ask for someone to move the motion, please? Mel, thank you. And seconded? Doris, thank you very much. All in favour? Motion passed. Thank you all, and now I'll hand you over to Jackie to highlight a few of Tweddle's achievements for the year.
I love this part. This is my favourite part. Thank you, Jennifer. This year, we continued to raise awareness of the importance of early relationships to the life outcomes of a baby. This was especially so during Infant Mental Health Awareness Week in June, and we look forward to celebrating this important week again this year. Further to the Labor government's $9 million redevelopment plans and the early parenting expansion project, we continued to move through the processes required to expand our Footscray footprint, and our partnership with the Victorian Health and Human Services Building Authority is developing. A really important component of our work has seen families absolutely delighted in weekly visits from our therapy dog, AJ. And I think staff are pretty keen on him too. A paper was presented in October 2019 at the Australian Marseille Society for Perinatal Mental Health, and it was entitled An Infant-Led Approach to Innovative Practice, and it described the positive outcomes of Tweddle's home parenting education program. In partnership with the Murdoch Children's Research Institute, Tweddle was successful in being awarded a Department of Health and Human Services Learning System grant under the auspices of the Centre for Excellence of Child and Family Welfare. And this is being used to evaluate Tweddle's parenting assessment and skill development service. In June 2020, we lost a valuable staff member, Barb. She was a mentor, a support, an encourager to many. And Barb's unexpected passing has left a hole in many of our hearts, and she's remembered frequently and cursed on many occasions in our day-to-day work. Vale, Barb Conroy. To all the staff, I sincerely say a very big thank you to all of you for all of the work that you tirelessly do to make a difference in the lives of babies, toddlers and their families, especially during this particularly challenging year. And one of my best memories is seeing a sea of faces across the Zoom screen with everybody just happy to join together as we established and responded to the pandemic. Prior to announcing our Staff and Leadership Awards, we have a short presentation from Kirsty Evans, Director of Clinical Services Nursing, on the Sleep and Settling Project. Over to you, Kirsty.
Thank you, Jackie. Okay, so I am very, very proud to be presenting the work that we have done to date on producing the training packages for the maternal and child health workforce on the new sleep and settling model of care. So, in early 2019, the Department of Health and Human Services embarked on a project to develop the Victorian Government's sleep and settling model of care as part of the 2018 election commitment, More Help for New Mums and Dads. The model was developed through a consultation process led by KPMG and involved maternal and child health stakeholders from across the entire state. This was a highly competitive tender application that, as you can see, was viewed by over 5,000 organisations and individuals and closed in January 2020. Both interstate and local early parenting organisations tendered for this project. And in June 2020, Tweddle was awarded the contract in partnership with the Centre for Excellence in Child and Family Welfare. This partnership will see over 2,700 of Victoria's maternal and child health workforce, which includes the maternal and child health nurses, Aboriginal health workers, allied health professionals, maternal and child health students, and clinical staff working in early parenting centres, trained in the latest evidence-based approaches to sleep and settling. Oops, sorry. Technology. So why did we win the tender? Well, as you have heard already a couple of times today, Tweddle has been around for 100 years and we have experience working in partnership with the maternal and child health workforce. We are synonymous with sleep and settling education. As already previously also mentioned, we were the first school of mothercraft nursing in Victoria, providing hospital-based training also for maternal and child health nurses from 1924 until that moved to the universities in the late 1970s and early 1980s. But we continue to provide excellent professional development and training today for maternal and child health nurses and other professionals across a wide variety of disciplines. We are accredited, as you have also heard today, and most importantly, families place their trust in Tweddle to help support their sleep and settling journey, and this has been done throughout our 100-year history. We at Tweddle, along with the Centre for Excellence in Child and Family Welfare, have an extensive knowledge of the broader reform context in which maternal and child health services are delivered here in Victoria. And Tweddle has introduced our innovative Sleep, Play, Bond video series, and we've also developed the Parenting Babies and Toddler app, which demonstrated our capacity to deliver education across different digital platforms. So this project, funded by the Victorian Government, is working very closely with a number of different stakeholders in order to deliver an excellent learning experience for the Victoria Maternal and Child Health statewide workforce. Our team. We have got an amazing team that has pulled this together here at Tweddle. Beverly Allen, who unfortunately is not with us today because she is taking a very, very well-earned break, has been leading the project, along with Leanne Williams, who is in the room with us today, and she is taking a very well-earned break next week. The hours that they have put into this project is phenomenal. They have been ably supported by Kath Black, who has been our project manager and has kept us all on track and has liaised between us and the Department of Health and the Centre for Excellence. And then we've had great support from the likes of Kerry Godleveson as our communications manager. Lifebuoy Video has been amazing at providing hours and hours of video footage and filming, along with the Department of Health, who have obviously been involved. Our partners at the Centre of Excellence for Child and Family Welfare, led by Michelle Lonsdale. Sharon Clerk has been instrumental in pulling the content that Beverly and Leanne have provided into the platform that puts it onto Moodle, and that's been done by Joel Brown, Natasha Lobo, and also supported by Mark Ryan. So it's been an amazing team pulled together to produce that. We have also been very ably supported by an advisory committee made up of representatives from the maternal and child health workforce, early parenting practitioners that are also working in the field, universities, and the early parenting centres themselves. Sorry, have I done something there? The advisory committee has provided guidance on the content for the modules and feedback on navigation through the Moodle system, and we are very grateful for the support that we have gained from the advisory group members. So we had some key timelines. So the call for tender happened in October 2019. We applied in January 2020. Jackie was very busy beavering away writing that tender. It was the successful tender was not announced until June 2020 as a result of being held up by COVID. It's one of the good things that happened with COVID is that we did have some delays, which enabled us to start the content for the modules and the filming that has developed scenarios and expert input, and that happened in July 2020. On Monday this week, we finally handed over the completed modules to the department, and I can see Leanne smiling. and they have this afternoon been signed off as being ready to go. And they will be launched on Friday at the Maternal and Child Health statewide conference. So as of Monday next week, it's all guns blazing and we're set to go. In March, we will commence planning the face-to-face workshops and developing a workbook and training manual that will be alongside the workshops that are developed. Still no technology. So our modules, we developed a conceptual model for the sleep and settling training, and we used key learnings from training that's happened for maternal and child health nurses in the MARAM, which is the new risk assessment framework, Myrtle, which is the trauma and family violence training that has occurred, and also autism training packages. So we can probably get to where we need to be. There we go. So we developed the e-learning modules, and those modules will reflect the content of the sleep and settling model that was developed by DHHS in consultation with the stakeholders in 2019. Then we will design face-to-face workshops, the online resources that support that, and the training manual, and everybody will receive a certificate on completion of the program. So the training will build on the existing capability of the maternal and child health workforce, further equipping them with a range of evidence-informed strategies and approaches to provide consistent guidance, education and support to parents to promote positive infant and early childhood sleep patterns and behaviours to prevent sleep and settling concerns from arising. It might just put us out of business. So, the e-learning content is 6 modules, bookended by an overview of the whole project and a library of resources at the end. So each of the 6 modules focus on a different age bracket and the associated strategies for helping parents learn to get their babies and toddlers to sleep. So as you can see, module 1, the main focus of that is around understanding the science of sleep, parent-child relationships and therapeutic relationships. Module 2 focuses on those 0 to 6-month-old children, babies, their cues, and looks at family-sensitive approaches. Module 3 is the 6 to 12-month-olds. It also has a focus for fathers and on cultural awareness. The module 4 is the 1 to 2-year-olds and has a focus on parental wellbeing. And then 5 tackles those toddlers and preschoolers and also considers family violence and the impact of trauma and what that has on sleep and settling. Module 6 is around diversity and specific challenges that some of the more specific groups will experience in their sleep and settling of their children. So a lot of work, a lot of hours and a comprehensive suite of services. We were very fortunate to have some eminent sector leaders in sleep and settling, infant and child development, infant mental health and attachment join us for filming and providing leading commentary as part of our online modules. And I would like to extend our sincere thanks to these eminent people, Professor Harriet Hiscock from the Murdoch Children's Research Institute, Associate Professor Campbell Paul from the Royal Children's Hospital, Dr Nicole Milburn, clinical psychologist, Dr Matthew Roberts, perinatal psychiatrist, Liz O'Day, Tweddle PAS coordinator, Carolyn Koya from Maternal and Child Health, and Karen McDonald also from Maternal and Child Health, who all gave freely of their time and their expertise to this project. We are also very, very grateful and thankful to the large number of Tweddle staff members and their babies who all starred in many of the videos that we have produced. And just a few snaps of a few of our staff and their babies. So, what's next? It is the design and then the delivery of over 60 face-to-face workshops. So Leanne and Beverly are going to jump in the Winnebago and they're going to head around the state from about April through until the end of the year. These workshops will be an overview of the model, and they will be supported by case studies. There'll be opportunities to explore how to deliver the sleep and settling model and strategies within group programs through telephone advice and home visiting. And there will also be an interactive question and answer panel discussion. All the participants will also be provided with a workbook that still has to be developed, and at this stage is looking like it will consist of about 40 pages, but is an excellent resource that they're going to have available in the clinics to use when working with families. So in summary, the project will provide over 2,700 nurses with 9 hours of online training, delivering the 7 modules, supporting 14 fact sheets that have been developed in 10 languages. There'll be the 60 workshops, and they will be supported by a 40-page training manual. Much work has already been undertaken to get us to this step. It's very exciting that we are at the point where the modules will be released at the end of this week and started. And I just again say a huge thank you to Beverly and Leanne for the work that they have undertaken, supported by the staff at the Centre for Excellence for Child and Family Welfare. So there is more to come. There'll be the workshops to report back on next year. But for now, thank you.
Thank you, Kirsty. It is such an exciting and important project for Tweddle and for the maternal and child health workforce. I think that it's very hard to look at that project and not be overawed by the amount of work and the leadership by all the staff. But one of the things that struck me the most is when Leanne and Beverly said, and they're both very experienced maternal and child health nurses. They've been years of experience of working in early parenting sector, and through this project they have learnt something about sleep and settling. So I think everyone can look forward to a really comprehensive training modules and workshops. So well done all. And we look forward to the next update. So we're now at the stage in our AGM where we acknowledge the leadership at Tweddle and years of service. And Doris is going to present this important component of the proceedings. And Tweddle's 100 years of caring for families has relied on the passion and the commitment of staff. And we're grateful for their dedication, and we recognise the following people today to help in improving the outcomes for babies, toddlers and their families. I'd like to acknowledge the following staff. 5 years, Kirsty Evans. Pina Pisani. We need the photo opportunity.
Oh, photo opportunity.
Leanne Williams. Eleanor Cryer. This is 10 years for Eleanor and this next group of staff. It's an impressive amount of time. Photo opportunity. Kerry Gottliebsen. Another 10 years. Kerry, well done.
Oh no, just leave it on there.
Photo opportunity. I'd also like to ask Leanne Williams to come up and accept Marion Wright's 20 years of service award.
Thank you very much. And well done, Marion, if you're watching.
All right, don't go very far, please, Doris. This year, our focus has been on living our values. We've put an awful lot of work into demonstrating more than they're just words on a page. The next award is the Tweddle Values Award, and it was developed from wanting to reinforce the importance of demonstrating the values in the work that we do across all programs. Our values, as we've said, are collaboration, accountability, respect and engagement. And we wanted to give profile to this work, and that's why we introduced such an important award and how we're profiling at the AGM. This award recognises and rewards individual staff members for exemplary display or one of more of the Tweddle values. This staff member was nominated by staff and assessed by a panel. She's been seen as being a leader and an example of living into Tweddle values into their work with their peers and families that we serve. Every day we see this staff member working with our families in a way that we can only say is exemplary, with a sense of joy, a sense of hope and an absolute commitment to better outcomes for everybody. I would like to congratulate Charlotte Bowen. Charlotte started with us as an early parenting practitioner role with a psychology background, and has now progressed on to being an associate parenting and school development coordinator. Thank you. Support. Oh, Maria. Oh, did I leave Maria out? Thank you. Kirsty's giving me the heads up. Maria, I have no idea why I left you out. Very important you come up and there's flowers out the back. We'll give Maria flowers in a moment. Maria, come up and be recognised for 5 years. My apologies, Maria, I blew the script.
That's fine, thank you so much.
All right, I'll now hand to Doris to close this afternoon.
Thank you, Jackie, and congratulations to all of those people receiving awards. And it's just such exciting time to recognise what people have been doing and their achievements. Great. We've got many exciting events planned for the year ahead. We've got the launch of the state-wide sleep and settling training, as Kirsty outlined. We've got the centenary celebrations, whatever they might be. The Infant Mental Health Awareness Week. We've got the launch of our centenary website and the commencement of the Working Out Dads randomised controlled trial and recruitment of 280 dads and 14 groups. So that's it's going to be really exciting. So in closing, I want to thank our ministers across the Departments of Health, Families, Fairness and Housing, our colleagues at the Queen Elizabeth Centre and O'Connell Family Service, our partners in Child and Family Services with whom we work collaboratively to support many families across a large catchment region of Victoria. Partnership has been the key in COVID, and it will something we have to hold on to. My fellow board members for their commitment, their passion, their support, their expertise and collegiality over the last 12 months has been really invaluable. To our CEO, Jackie, we acknowledge the valuable work and leadership that you provide, and we look forward to your untiring ideas, innovation and drive. The ideas that keep coming at us are just wonderful, really. And to the staff, mostly, we all acknowledge the tremendous work that you do in providing the services to our families. On behalf of the board, I thank you for your skills, your passion, your engagement in the rewarding and often challenging work here at Tweddle. So thank you to everyone. Thank you for everybody online and here today for coming to share the AGM with us. Thanks very much.